Hello, everybody. This is Compound Interest Stock Guide, and we're going to be talking about a lot today. So, just going to play some music, and then I'm going to put this link on Twitter, and we're going to be talking about cannabis and commodities and palladium. Hello, so I'm back. Yeah, happy Sunday. Coming back down earlier in the day, and then gold was up a lot, but it's starting to kind of just level out. I'd like to see crude really start to have a good run. It went below $20. It was at $19.92, and then it creeped up. It's like $20.55 the last time I checked. So that's really going to affect the whole broader market for the most part. I'm going to just look at the price right now. The internet's really slow on my end, so I don't know what they're doing, but just gonna go through. I can't get to the oil, but I know last time I looked, it was around 2045, and then gold was around 1650. So it almost got to about $1,700, but not quite that high. And palladium was up to about $2,200. So it'll be interesting with palladium if palladium has a really good run and platinum together, because if those both align and they go together, I would think about SPPP, which is Sprott's Palladium Platinum ETF. So that's an interesting one. For commodities, the biggest ones that I think about are Tech CAMECO, so TECCKB, and they're at $9.10 Canadian. I think there's still downward pressure on there, but back in 2016, this stock went to about $4. So I think it could definitely go down further. But when all the dust settles, that'll be a good company to own, in my opinion. Freeport-McMoRan, good copper and gold player, and their ticker is FCX. And they're at $6.20 USD. And for lithium, for Tesla batteries, their ticker is LTHM, and they're at $5.30. And then Pan American Silver, PAAS, at $15.41. I mean, they shut down the Peru mine, so I'm not really that bullish on the company. But there's definitely reasons to be bullish on the stock. For just the fact what they have under the ground. So, and then when they get running at full capacity, they'll be kicking ass. And ticker Suncor, SU, is trading at 11.73 USD, and that's been as high as about like 30 to 40 USD this year. So it could definitely go a lot higher. But obviously, with the price of oil down lower, it's probably going to go lower tomorrow. for it very well could end up getting acquired by another company like ExxonMobil or something else. So we'll see with that. I'm not really bullish yet on oil. Some people are bullish on oil. Not really bullish on oil, to be honest. I mean, when I start to see it go to like 26, 27, $28 a barrel, then I'll start to get bullish. But until then, ticker NILSY, big nickel and palladium and platinum, and they even have copper in Russia at 24.63. So, it's held up pretty good. If it went down a little bit lower, I might pick up some more at $35, and they're like oil and steel and everything kind of combined. So they're an interesting player for sure. And VALE, VALE's an interesting one as well. Wheat and precious metals. For people who are want to play the precious metals market and play a little safer, wheat and precious metals WPM at 39.42 is one of your safest bets. But I mean, I do think they are overvalued. But if gold ends up going to like 18, 1900, 2000, 2500, silver starts to go to $25, $30, palladium goes to $3,000. I mean, this company will do pretty good, I expect, on their stock price and their earnings, but we'll see. And Franco-Nevada, another big one, and they don't get palladium in the same way that wheat and precious metal does. And I think they're a lot higher. I think they're probably around like $80. I'll go check it out. I'm just going through my watch list. Somehow I never put Franco-Nevada on my watch list because they're so expensive. Yeah, I mean they're $140. So I mean they went down to 120. They went up to 140. So I mean if gold starts coming down and silver starts going down, I can start seeing this go down quite a bit. But I don't know. They have a really high PE ratio, but people like heading towards these royalty companies. So and Hudson Bay Minerals, wow, they're just getting decimated. This company was about $10 or so a while back, and they're trading at $2.40, and their ticker is HBM. They kind of got a lot of like the base metals and minerals and all that. And RIOT-BLOCKCHAIN at 79 cents. If blockchain starts blowing up, start getting big momentum, could be a really good one. I have it in my commodity watch list. I don't know. I guess I just kind of consider blockchain and crypto in a sense kind of a commodity. That's just my opinion. I mean, some people call it a currency, I guess, but it's just in my brain, I think of it as commodity. And Barrick Gold at $19.24. So I'm sure they probably have some of their mines sold. Not running, I meant. Not sold, but not running. And SPROTT, physical platinum, palladium, SPPP. So that's good for platinum and palladium. And then with Kirkland Lake Gold, KL ticker is a good one for gold. Definitely interesting. If gold starts going up, that's in USD. I mean, I could definitely see some really sharp movements with that. Go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%. But it's all going to be depending on whether gold starts going to 1700, 1725, 1750, boom up to $1,800, right? Okay, another one would be TRULIEVE soybean. So that's done all right. It's SOYB. So you're hedged in the food agriculture area. If you own that stock, I don't own that stock. I'm just giving an idea. It doesn't have that much volume, about 38,000. If before I ever buy any commodity, I always like commodity stock. I always check them commodity price. So that's the way I run with soybean as well. If I was to buy it, if soybean looked bullish, so CAMECO-CCO in Canada or CCJ in America, and uranium's still chilling at about $24-25. So until it starts going to 28, 29, 30, 30, 30, 35, 40, 40, 40, like an auction, we're not going to see big moves, in my opinion, on Cameco. And they're shutting down the MacArthur mine too. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a wait and see approach, but they're definitely the meanest and the biggest and the baddest in the uranium space. So that's what I think. And we can go move on to cannabis. So Valens had a pretty decent day. So I was playing, I think it was for a month, and I bought it at $1.30 and I sold it at $2. So I made decent on that. I didn't go, I could have held it maybe longer. I mean, and made more money, but I just want to take the money and run. And then, I'm looking at Tilray. I think if the whole broader market starts coming down tomorrow, I could see Tilray, start going down to like $5, $6, $7. So seeing that happens, if something like that happens, then I'll be opening up, keeping it on my watch list, like focused, lasered, for a big move, right? Whether I bought the stock for a 20-30% move, if I bought 100 shares, something like that, I might play or do the call option way. But there's definitely a lot of volume and value going into Tilray. For example, there's 55 million shares traded, right, on Friday, and it moved up 15%, and the price is $9. So if you add up all that money, you're talking close to about $500 million in value of money that was moved around in Tilray. So that's what I think. And Meta had a pretty good move on Friday, but they're just in the dumpster bin right now, under 15-20 cents. So we'll see what happens to them. I mean, I can't see them really going bankrupt. I would just expect them to get acquired if they go down for enough. But for all we know, maybe they start running up to $1 in the next month or 2 months, right? I mean, crazier things can happen in the space. It can just go up really fast within like a month, and then start coming down. So it'll definitely be interesting. There's so many variables and so many things to consider. So it's hard to hold a stock overnight. Doesn't matter how good the company is right now in this atmosphere. Holding a stock overnight is a tricky business, and you got to be prepared to take a big hit if you hold a stock overnight. So that's what I think. Organigram trading at $2.95. They don't get nearly the amount of volume that Tilray gets, right? Tilray got 55 million and they got about 2.6 million. So you just got to look at the difference, right? So Canopy-RIVERS at 84 cents. A little bit of volume there. Be interesting. INMED Pharmaceuticals getting a bit of volume, 24 cents. I think they're one of the best pharmaceutical companies in the cannabis space. I mean, there's companies that are directly focused on pharmaceutical, and then there's companies that are cannabis companies as well as pharmaceutical companies. For example, you got Tilray, who do pharmaceutical. You got Aurora that does pharmaceutical kind of like research stuff, and you got Canopy that does pharmaceutical research stuff. And there's other companies that do it, but on a lot lower level. And then you got companies such as Tetro Biopharma, and which is TBP ticker, and INMED, which is IN ticker, and then you get Zynerba, which is ZYNE, and then you get GW Pharma. So those are just different cannabis companies that really are, just doing their thing in the pharmaceutical. There's also Arena Pharma, ARNA, and I think that's a pretty decent one. Yeah, Tilt Holdings at 21 cents in Canadian funds. Valen's at 240. So I don't know, just different things going on in the sector. Hexo's coming up from the bottom, went to 173 on Friday and closed at 153. So definitely a lot of interesting things going on. You got Lanet LCI ticker, and it's an interesting way that they're doing it. Cocaine nasal spray, and they're trading at 725. So I mean, I was looking at them more when they were at 950 because I thought there was a big resistance before $10, and it never went through, and now it's coming down. So I mean, I guess I could look at the charts a little more and see maybe if there's momentum if it starts going up to 750, because there's about a 500,000 of shares moved. So I like stocks that have movement. Generally speaking, if I'm trying to day trade or swing trade, like within like a day to like 2 weeks, I like a stock to have at least about 200, 300,000 shares traded a day. That just means it's a lot more liquid, right? And I like CRON 629 in USD. Value going into Tilray, right? Like, are they going to get acquired? You got to ask yourself that question. I mean, it's speculation, but why? Why is there so much momentum? I mean, maybe they're just pumping it. Maybe they just want to pump it up to 15, 20 bucks. Because I definitely see a potential with Tilray to go to 25, 30 bucks. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I mean, I think there's definitely a bull case for Tilray. Will it stay there? Probably not. But then if they did get a big cash injection by being acquired, then they're one of the companies in the space that got CBD beverages out. They don't have THC beverages, but in my stores, we don't have THC beverages. The only one that makes them is Canopy right now in Canada that I know. And those are 2 milligrams of THC, and they're going to be out this week in BC. So Delta 9, I don't mind Delta 9, but not much volume, right? 42 cents, and yeah, so Tilt Holdings, GW Pharma at $86. Wow, so it's gone down a lot. So it'll be interesting with GW Pharma. I think they are kind of overvalued, but their profit margins are insane. Grow Generation came up. I like Grow Generation. 435, 800,000 volume. TRULIEVE, I like them, but I think they're gonna release their financials pretty soon. That'll be interesting. 1238. Zynerba 381. IPR 8077. It went to 7650. So it'll be interesting. Look, if the market kind of goes all the way down, the SPY hits a bottom, and there's IPR say at like $40-50, I think it will be a pretty good investment, most likely by that time. So I do like the way IPR, but it'll be interesting how things move along, whether it's going to be bullish in the market or not tomorrow. In my opinion, it's all going to be about crude for the most part. And Village Farm at 347 USD. So they kind of came off from the bottom, but then they were down on Friday, down about 5%. So I think they got to release financials fairly soon. Green Thumbs, GTII. I did my financial report card series. You guys can check it out on my channel. I compare it with Curaleaf, and I think GTI had a better financials, but Curaleaf does have more cash, so I'm a little more bullish on Curaleaf. I don't have positions in either, but Curaleaf's at a lower level, so I kind of like Curaleaf. I'm definitely keeping my eye on them. I probably should have bought them on Friday for a day trade at about 560. I think they went to like 6 something, but there wasn't much volume. It just slowed down, so I wasn't sure what I was doing. So I just, lost my chance. And Lab's gonna report financials on Monday, I believe, the 30th, and they're at 198 Canadian, about 140 USD, and about 1.1 million traded. So that's interesting. It's just going to be depending. I'm not really sure, to be honest, how good they're going to be for their financials, just based on the information. As their revenues, maybe some of it got sent back. I don't know. It's hard to say, because I thought a lot of their revenues were from making oils for a lot of the companies, such as like Canopy and other companies. So if all that stuff got sent back to Canopy, well, maybe it's going to get hit MetaPharm Labs. I mean, they are working in a different direction right now, because they're making their own brands now, and they got their own Wayfair vape cartridges going. So that's interesting. Abacus, they're going to get acquired as long as everything goes through with Charlotte's Web, ABCS. So they were down on Friday, but I don't know. I like that company. I own them, but it'll be similar to the direction that Charlotte's Web goes for the most part, I think. But I have to look at the actual what the conversion is, because I think you can make a lot of money on the the divergence on things. It's like a leverage play kind of, that if say it's like 1 for every 2 shares of a company, but if they're not weighted at that same way, and if the acquisition goes through, well, and the House and Cresco Labs, I think people were making money on Origin House, so that's just what I'm talking about. And then with TGIF, wow, they're at 11 cents. I like what they're doing, but I mean, their financials aren't that great. I don't know. We'll see with TGIF. I know some people are bullish on this company, but Zenabis, I think they're gonna do the financials probably tomorrow or on Tuesday. So I think they should be pretty decent. I'm thinking somewhere around like 17 to 20 million, and maybe like a 5 million loss, maybe 10 million loss. I hope not, but maybe only like 2-3 million loss. And then I'm thinking close to positive EBITDA or positive EBITDA, but we'll see. I think they're getting money from propagation this quarter. So Planet 13 at PLTH at 153. I like them. I don't know how good their financials are going to be this upcoming quarter, because they're probably not going to get the same amount of financials, revenues, based on the fact that a lot of the revenues are from tourists, right? It's not from people that live there. So if people aren't traveling, then they're not going to be good. So I'm actually not very bullish on Planet 13 right now. When this thing clears and then people are traveling again, then yeah, I can get bullish on them. But for now, no. Kush Bottles coming back. I mean, man, it would have been a score getting Kush Bottles at 36 cents. That's one of the biggest revenue players, and KSHB. And they went as high as $1.03. So, and they closed at 80 cents USD. So it's interesting. Stock that I'm kind of bullish on. Hit the like if you haven't hit the like. I appreciate it. A stock that I bought this week in calls was Anheuser-Busch, BUD. BUD ticker Anheuser-Busch. So that's basically for, alcohol beverages like Budweiser, and they have some other ones, like they got just all types, but they're just one of the biggest. I think they're the biggest alcohol players. So they went as high as about $100, I mean, this year, and then they're coming back down. They went to $32, and I was like, whoa, how low are they going to go? Are they going to go to $10, $15? I mean, I don't know. I was just, when things go down, you don't really ever want to catch a falling knife. Excuse me. When they go down, and they keep going down, you just want to let it like stop, and then just like find some momentum, and like you just got to slow that momentum. And then when I'm looking at the Bollingers, then I realize that, okay, then it's time to look into it when things start setting up on different chart patterns, like whether it's like 1 hour, 2 hour, or 5 hours on Bud. And then, I think it can go lower based on if oil goes down this week. It's trading probably around like 2050, 2070. But if, say, oil was to go to $18, $17, I think Bud and a lot of other companies can go down a lot. So, I mean, but I got the $55 strikes all the way till September 20th. And my feeling is everything's going to be kind of cleared off by that time. So that'll be great. September 20th, $55 strike for 230. I got it on Friday. So I got 2 calls already, $55 strikes. So, I mean, if whether it goes to $75, $85, $95, I'll do very good on those options. I may buy more, but I'm looking at other companies that are, set up. My feeling on way the market's going with this whole pandemic is that come about April 30th, because that's what they're saying for just phone companies. They're saying that you can use free extra minutes until April 30th. So by April 30th, that's the time that a lot of the negative things that happen with this whole virus will kind of be gone, and then things will start getting better. So that's my feeling. Anyways, let's look at some other ones because got a lot to talk about. So the companies that did really good on the S&P 500 were SPXU, which is a short for the SPY, SPXU. So Moderna had a really good one. mRNA, very good. Yeah, Beta Pro. So for the S&P 500 2 times, that's HSD, and those are not as expensive. So this is another one that you can do short. HSD SPY. I mean, I'm not telling you guys that it's going to be bearish or bullish come tomorrow. I got to wait till 6 o'clock in the morning, to be honest. And, things can change very quickly, but I'm just giving you guys ideas for the week. So Constellation Brands, STZ, which is, big alcohol company connected with Canopy. I mean, that company's paying about $200, so it'll be interesting how it goes. Procter & Gamble PG, $110. Primerica PRI. Alexander's ALX. I'm not sure what ALX is. It was up about 1.27%. I'm not sure what Primerica is either. And Procter & Gamble, I believe, is kind of just, I think they do stuff like Colgate and all these different big consumer products. and Altria MO 3664. So I'm kind of bullish on sin companies. But I like alcohol companies more than nicotine companies. Constellation Brands was up 3%, right? So it's showing that there's definitely an idea that people want to just own sin stocks. So, Pepsi, people like their Pepsi, whether the economy is good or bad. And there's definitely, McDonald's as well. Usually they were down 2% though. So I guess it's because people aren't going inside that's really affecting their business. So, people are just doing takeout, and a lot of people don't want to do takeout. So, I mean, I guess a lot of people are just sitting inside their houses. So I think there's definitely an argument that if you have a really good delivery business, then you're going to excel in this environment. I mean, that's why I know someone that just messaged me today on my channel on a comment about Namaste. I'm going to try to look for them, but they were talking about Namaste, and Namaste they have Pineapple Express. So that's that's good. Pineapple Express will deliver within the same day cannabis. So it's interesting. I mean, I don't know how well they're doing in the market right now, so I'd like to see their financials, but there's definitely an argument if people decide they don't want to go to stores to get cannabis, and they're one of the best for deliveries. Novartis, big pharmaceutical company, $79. Walmart at 109.58. I think Walmart should sell a lot of stuff because people want to load up a lot of stuff and just stay in their house. So they'll probably buy stuff like 2-3 months ahead of time that they need. So then they don't got to go back there. So a company that I'm kind of looking at to short is BIP. BIP to do. BIP. So what is BIP? They're Brookfield retail properties, and they're ETF for retail for real estate. And the reality is that if real estate's not worth as much right now, then their assets will have to be written down, right? You see the big write downs with Aurora Cannabis or other companies. That's the same that can happen to a lot of these companies. They have to write down a lot. So that's really the risk you take when you're when you own a real estate company. Same with IIPR. So what were the biggest losers on Friday? Fresh Del Monte was down 12%, and their ticker is FDP. And Boeing was BA, and they were down 10%. And Albemarle, big lithium player, down to 55%. Wow. And Raytheon is a big military company, kind of similar to Boeing, but I don't know if they do airlines. I know they're just kind of connected with the military. That's kind of as base as I know for the knowledge. But their ticker is RTN, and if there's military things that happen, they would be called upon, and they would probably get a pretty good contract out of the whole deal. But JP Morgan was down 7%, and Starbucks came down again. I mean, it kind of came back up. I think they went down to $55 or so, like that, and or $50, and they went up to maybe $70, but now they're at $66. So Starbucks ticker is SBUX, and usually they're for the last while, like 3 to 6 months before it started going down, they were trading around like $90 to $100. So definitely on sale. Microsoft's at 149.70 MSFT ticker. And I'm kind of bearish on the banks. So if there's a lot of negative news about real estate prices going down, I think that can really hurt the banks in Canada. So tickers like RY, definitely watching. Facebook ticker FB. I mean, I don't know. There could be a big downward thing if all of a sudden people want to sell all their real estate. So, and Hyatt is a not real estate. It's a hotel company. So I'm bearish on Hyatt. Bearish on Hyatt. And J&G, Johnson and Johnson, at $123, not bad. I think they can go a lot further down, but I mean, I think that USA would want to save them out and probably buy them a lot. So it'll be interesting. I mean, it's all going to depend on how much money the Fed's pumping into the market and buying up assets. So that's kind of the reality, but I like looking through this list with you guys so I can kind of get a better idea for this week as well. 3M at $133. McDonald's MCD at $164. I mean, look, a lot of these companies can go down a lot further, but when the market starts getting bullish, these are the companies you want to own, except the short ones. And the vaccine, I mean, the vaccine probably those will want to be sold off. So there's definitely a bull case for mRNA. So yeah, mRNA. Whew. Yeah. Dividend portfolio. Nutrient. So yeah, I mean, in this environment, a dividend portfolio is not a bad idea. It's it can have a beneficial part for your portfolio. So there's definitely reasons to have a dividend. The reason why is because the cash is a rarity right now. People don't have as much cash coming in because they're not working. People just are a little worried, right? And it's a nice little boost if they can have this added money coming in because they don't know when their next check's going to come in. So, there's definitely people fleeing towards dividends, but at the same time, they're still weighted towards the S&P 500. And, whether they're in commodities or they're in retail or they're tourism or anything like that, it can negatively impact it. So I'm just laying that out there. But the ones that I really like in this are FTS, which is Fortis, and Starbucks SBUX, and Intel INTC. I'm not sure if I'm bullish on Intel, to be honest, but it is part of the 5G. TELUS and ticker T. So, I mean, people still got to use their phones during a recession or a depression, whatever it may be. So that's just the reality of things. And Exxon Mobil, I'm looking at it. If oil gets bullish, XOM. XOM is my key. Yeah, so XOM, if the crude oil starts coming up, maybe as a 25% day, yeah, shit, I would definitely want to ride XOM. I mean, I think that company's been at $80-$90, and now it's trading at about $37, and they're they're the biggest and the baddest pretty much in the whole oil space. I think the only company that's really bigger than them is maybe Royal Dutch Shell, but they may be smaller. And then there's obviously Saudi Aramco, which is 50% private. And then now they're kind of public in a sense because I think all the big institutions in USA have some type of ownership. I don't know what their ticker is. I'll look to see if I can find their ticker if they're on the exchange, but I don't know if they did go on the exchange. If there was just like says it's Aramco. No, it doesn't really show anything. So, but I like them for sure for oil. PW. Let's look at PW Power RT. So that's one what Five Finger Lid was telling me about a while back. So we'll see. 1030.3 of a million of volume going in there. So, but definitely one to look at if you're. So airlines, I'm not bullish on. I think there's definitely an argument that they can go up, but I don't know. I just think I'm bearish. But I mean, if you can make some money on like a short trade when their movements, because maybe the market goes way down. Like for example, on Delta Airlines, right? While it closed at the low of the day, I think for the most part. But on some day, I mean, you just got to look at the chart, and you could play puts on that day. So with like LUV Southwest Airlines or AAL American Airlines or Westco Airlines 11.04 or DA or 29 put, $28 put. So in your options account, then you would just, try to get it for cheap as possible. And then, as soon as it goes up like 30, 60, 70%, get the F out, take your money and run. Or if it starts going down like 15%, 20%, get the F out. So anyways, if you guys got no more questions, I think I'm gonna get going. I'll do a timestamp as soon as I watch this and record. Then I'll put it on in the comment section or other in my details. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. And yeah, that's pretty much what's up. I mean, I'll look at commodities just for a quick second before I go. So gold's down again, 1650. So oil must be coming up from the bottom. Soybean meal. So US soybeans up almost a 1%, like 0.75. What's crude at? Crude's at 2040. So it opened for a low at 1992 and then it went to 2091 and now it's at 2038. So I wonder if it's going to go down a lot. I mean, shit, if it goes to like $17, $18, we could see a lot more bearishness in the market. So that's where you want to get your SQQQ, like SQQ or, SH. But for all we know, it'll just open. Oh, hey JG. Oh, you got any questions you want to talk to me about? I was just gonna get going. But if you want to talk to me about some stuff, I can stay for another 15, 20 minutes. Give me a thumbs up if you can. I appreciate it. JG in the house. Yeah, JG's been talking to me a lot and on Twitter. Thanks for the like. Yeah, so I was talking about the commodities, gold, gold and oil kind of staying the same. I mean, gold and oil are just at levels that are just any big movement in one direction could be really, really big. So we're just kind of like trading sideways in both of those. But if gold starts coming up, man, I think people can make a lot of money on the best gold miners that I talk about, such as like Kirkland Lake, KL, potentially with wheat and precious metals as well. But they may have a lot of mines that are also closed as well. So the gold ETFs, GLD and SLV, if silver and gold start really rocking up this week, I'll definitely be watching those ones. So you're asking me about Valens. How's Valens doing? I think they did pretty good on Friday. Do you have a position? I think you told me you got a position in Valens, right? Uh, they were up 5 cents. Yeah, I mean, right now, like I said it straight up. I mean, I knew that the profit margins were better than labs, and everybody laughed at me and thought I was stupid as shit. And I was right. They do better EBITDA than MetaPharm Labs, but MetaPharm Labs has better revenues. But I like them both. But when I look on the chart, actually, it doesn't look that bullish, to be honest. It looks as though it's like gonna hit 250 and come down. So, but it could just like come down like maybe 5 to 10 cents and then rocket up to $3 Canadian. And that would be about like 240 USD. It's an interesting chart. I mean, it went down to 185 on March 18th, so that would have been the time to buy. And then, you could have sold out a lot of your position for 30% gains. I mean, it just seems like the whole market, nobody really wants to hold things very long. So, yeah, I bought some labs on Thursday, so I'm at a loss on my labs. But labs is going to be reporting, so if the market starts coming down, like if it spikes up to 235, 245, gaps up on good financials, and it doesn't like keep momentum, I'll keep other shares, but like this is just like a swing trade for me. So if I get 20 cents on it, I'm good with that, because my whole goal is just to have more cash on the sidelines for different things as they come available. And yeah, it'd be interesting. I told the ladies at the dispensaries about the indica blend, and I said that that it's coming. So that's from Village Farms. So I think they're going to sell a lot more cannabis in BC in the next 2 to 3 months based on that indica blend. They're not going to make a lot of money on it, but it's going to really put a dent into Aurora Cannabis and other companies that are trying to bulk sale. It'll definitely fuck with them. But I mean, Aurora and a lot of the other companies also got edibles and beverages and vape cartridges and other things that are a competition to them. Yes, it is nice, JG. Tilray, TLRY, is really ran from the bottom. Yeah, you're telling me, man. Look, when I look on the chart, I did play Tilray on, was it Thursday, I believe. I bought a $10 strike when it was about $8 a month out till like close to 420, and I sold it. I bought it for $1.30 and I sold it for $2. So I was okay with that. I mean, I could have made more money, and it could potentially go to $14, $15. But my opinion is like probably going to open up maybe like $6, $7. Kind of want to test the lower lines. I believe, like, I just think that momentum can't really stick unless they get a big amount of money. So say like Novartis or Ab and Bev gives them, 500 million, $1 billion or whatever, right? I don't think there's really, but CGC, I like them. I got my CGC $20 calls till 420 pretty much. So JG says, I think VFF could do good with just selling flour. Yeah, I think so. The only problem right now is that they don't have the same type of delivery ability. I don't know. I guess they're counting on all these other companies to sell their stuff. So if there's problems in the whole bottlenecks in Ontario. So until there's maybe Namaste sells their flour or some other ways that they can sell, but I think regardless, the provinces will sell a lot of their flour, whether that's in Ontario and Alberta. They do selling flour with Vivo in BC, so they're around, as well as they got the tomatoes and yeah, exactly, hemp and all that stuff. So yeah, whether they get big into the oils and extraction and kind of get that going. The whole thing is, though, there's a lot of competition in oils and extraction, so it's hard. I mean, I'm not going to be really bullish on that sense. My bullish stance on Village Farms is basically just looking at them being able to sell, I don't know, like 25, 30,000 kilograms a year, and getting like $3 to $4 average, but and then making money on hemp as well. But they don't spend any money. Like, it costs them 50 cents to grow, and they're probably lowering their expenses. So I don't know. It's hard until Ontario has like 200, 300, 400 stores, and people stop being scared about this virus. Then there's definitely a bear stance for that company. Yeah, no, for sure. Hemp CBD, man. But they're not the only company doing hemp CBD, right? So like Zenabis has a pretty good stance for they have made capsules in the BC cannabis store, and there's other companies like Kronos, HEXO, Tilray, Afria, Aurora, Canopy, you name it, right? Yes, JG, I agree. It's really tough time, man. That's why it's good to have really good friends that will support you through these times, and just take every day at a time, right? There's a lot of different obstacles, whether you're at the grocery stores and people are weird and shit like that, or just different things that are going on in people's lives that we need to just be gentle with each other. Standard Farms, right on. Isn't Standard Farms, aren't they with Tilt? I think they are. Man, that's good. You keep buying Tilt stuff till they're worth like $5, man. And Farms, Tilt. Yeah, I'm interested when Tilt does their financials. Mm, yep, Pennsylvania, man. It's awesome. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you told me about the tincture. That's really cool, man. Yes, Tilt's really underrated in my opinion, and especially looking at, the financials of GTII, looking at the financials of Curaleaf. I mean, when Curaleaf's worth so much more, and GTI is worth so much more, like, I just don't understand how GTII is worth $8, and then, I mean, sure, they're doing 75 million a quarter, but Tilt for all we know could be doing 45 to 50 million a quarter. When this virus is over, I'm sure they're going to be able to do like 60 to 75 million a quarter, maybe at the end of the year, I'm thinking. I would just really like to see them get a lot of cash from some type of bank, from the Safe Banking Act or whatever. I mean, I know Kira just got 300 million, so they're just not very connected, but they seem to be connected with this big vape company in China. So I don't know. There's some big things that could happen with Tilt. I just, but there's also, you know, they're also very risky. That's cool. But I do think they are one of the better companies, under 50 cents. But at the same time, I have no control over like the direction they go. For all I know, they could go bankrupt. That's really the fear, that all these companies that don't have a lot of cash, that they can go bankrupt, and that's just a fact. Because you know, the cash concerns is definitely there. Now, whether the banks start to kind of float the money that they're getting with these bailouts into these smaller companies so they can kind of survive, then it'll be a different story. Did I ever see Geo? What's Geo? JG? Mm, mm, the Geo group. Hmm. Guess says they got a 16% dividend. Hmm. Yeah, they might be in play. I got BIP and DWT. I think DWT is connected with the dollar, because I'm just looking at different ideas, right? How to play. So, oh no, it's not. It has nothing to do with the dollar. DWT is a crude oil inverse. So inverse is bearish, right? So if you're bearish on oil, bearish oil, BIP. Yep. Medtronic. Where do you get these ideas, a JG? Where are you getting all these ideas? You must be like in some other group or something like that. If you're getting all these companies, Medtronic and Tesla are together. Hmm. It says medical device. I want to short. I really want to make money off of shorting Tesla game. That was like the most fun I've had in my life. Just be like, fuck you, Elon Musk. Fuck you, all you Tesla cult investors. That was like the most fun. Um, plus Elon wants to put brain chips in everybody's head. So, um, Tesla Tesla could have a good week, to be honest, but it's all gonna be depending on the SPY. You own Medtronic? Yeah. Well, I hope you make lots of money on Medtronic. All I can say is that it's ventilators. Ventilators. This is like the biggest like phony capitalism that we've ever seen in our whole life. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the most phony capitalism. Like uh people will realize like 5 years from now, they'll look back and realize like how much of a fraud this was, like just how like 911 was a fraud. And But I intend to make money on some long-term call options. Long-term call options. Yeah, there's a lot of companies that are making ventilators. Ventilators. Have you watched that guy Kumo on New York City? Ventilators. We need more ventilators. More ventilators. Uh, and then Trump was talking. He was saying that, you know, we normally have 10 to 20,000 ventilators, and now we need 200 to 300,000 ventilators. Where did all the ventilators go? And then now they're talking about cleaning ventilators. So some of these companies that we don't. But how many ventilators do you need though? I mean, how many ventilators do you need? Um, if if USA if USA, I mean, maybe they will. Maybe there'll be millions of people in the hospital in 2 weeks. So yeah, I guess let me look at the data. I'm just gonna look at the data. How many people COVID cases in USA? So March 30th, there says there's 142,000 cases. And then it says there's 2,484 deaths and 4,600 recovered. So that's good. Yeah, no, I agree. There's probably going to be a lot of people that are going to die. 142,000. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm actually like understanding that this is going to get a lot worse. Like I think people who are thinking that it's going to like just flatten the curve, that I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Um yeah, no, I agree. I think that not people aren't getting tested, but it's I don't know. They're gonna put people in the hospital because people like whether they have the symptoms or not. What's Apex? Is that's like a definition or something like that? I'm just like the peak. That's a peak, right? Yeah, the top. Okay, yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, yeah. No, like it starts to go. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Um, yeah, JG, I hear what you're saying. I agree. I think you're probably right. Somewhere around 2 weeks. I think it could. I know that the phone companies, they're giving people free long distance till April 30th. So that's like the date that they kind of think that things are gonna, get back to normal. That's that I don't know. It's gonna be tough for small businesses to get back in order. That's why you really want to, if you're investing, when things go back up, it'll be the best companies that will go up the first. So, and then all the money will flow in, and you know. Yeah, JG. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's not bad for people to go for walks. I think it's healthy for people to go to walks. But yeah, if people are like crammed in like a nightclub, or they're crammed in a bus, or they're crammed in like all these restaurants, then yeah, I can see like the whole the cases like peak, like go a lot higher. Yeah, I think so. I know there's a lot of people that are like criticizing Trump, but this didn't come from the USA. I mean, all this like this virus, it's tough on people that don't have like strong immune systems, but people who have strong immune systems can kind of like handle it, I think. But No, you're right. I think it definitely has the potential to go up a lot. I mean, 140,000 people, I think it can definitely go to 200,000, 300,000, 400, 500,000 in the next week or 2 weeks. So yeah, it's probably going to get up to a million or maybe even 2 million, maybe in USA. But I think okay, what's the death rate? The death rate is 2,500, close to it. I don't know. I think the highest it would be in USA might be the death rate might be 20x. That's what I think. Yeah, USA is a powerful country. I agree. Uh, this virus came from another country for sure. So DXY. DXY is a ticker. It's for dollar index. So DXY is a dollar strength. So you can play calls or puts on that as well if you're into options, or you can just buy the stock. But it doesn't move a lot. But 52-week range is 94.65, and the high was 102.99. So I'm just gonna look at. So it looks like it's strengthening, but this could be just a false flag, and the dollar really weakens. So if the dollar weakens, the commodity prices are gonna go up. JG says Trump is a decent president. I believe he hasn't done anything that bad and has done good. Yeah, I think he's done a pretty good job for the most part. Yeah, no, I don't know why like Wolf of Weed Street always has to like talk so much crap about President Trump. Um, but I mean, at the same time, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can trust Trump, to be honest. It'll be definitely interesting how this thing works out. It's it's like a 24D chess. What's going on in this world? Yeah, I think what's happening is that all the Democrats, this whole thing, they're like using it to really badger Trump, and then so Trump doesn't get elected, and they're like the media is like just going crazy, right? They're just like throwing ape shit at him, like poop, they poop, throw more poop, throw more poop, but it's not good for the country, for it to divide people. Yeah, I don't live in USA. I mean, it'll be interesting. Yeah, I mean, what's happening though? I don't know. I just don't know. I got my fears about what's going on in the world. That's not going to be good for anybody. I except the 1%. So that's kind of my fears as well. So DXY, if the dollar really explodes, I might play DXY. It's $98. Probably wouldn't be very expensive. UVXY, I don't think UVXY, the VIX, the volatility index ones. I think the volatility in the market has really subsided, because I think a lot of the big players are kind of understanding that, a lot of the big drop has already happened. There may be a little bit more drop, but people aren't so fearful. I mean, can the VIX go up a little bit, and that'll make the UVXY and the TVIX go up? But I think there's a lot more downside. As soon as everything subsides, as you say, the apex hits. When apex hits, man, I think that's when people are gonna start like entering their positions. People are probably gonna get all that money from the stimulus money, and they're gonna buy up Apple. They're gonna buy up Microsoft. They're gonna buy all that. So it'll definitely be interesting. What's CGC looking like? Well, CGC had a pretty shitty day on Friday. It's they're at 1459. Yeah, CGC, they're kind of downtrending on Friday. I mean, they had a peak of $16 USD. I mean, the last month they went as low as 9.15. That would have been a great buy if you would have bought like a 1 to 2 months, $10 or $11 strike. That would have been a great buy back then on March 18th. Anywhere under $10, you would have done very good on that call option. You would have like 3, 4, or 10x that call option, I believe. Especially if you would have sold it when it was like 15.80. And I mean, it seems like it's coming back up, but it could also just fall down. I mean, for all we know, the whole cannabis market just gets destroyed this week. I just don't know. I don't know anymore, man. This whole market's so volatile. But the money that's flooding into Tilray is just crazy. 55 million shares were traded on Friday. So that's like about half. So that's why I do really like Budweiser, man. People are gonna use their Budweiser, drink beers, and people are gonna smoke their cannabis. They're gonna have edibles. They're gonna have beverages. They're gonna do things. So, but I mean, there's a lot of companies that are gonna get destroyed in this environment, man, because if they're not highly cashed up, I think there is definitely a reason to be bearish on some companies in the space. Because there's a lot of flower that's sitting in dispensaries that's not moving a lot. Maybe not as many people are coming around. It just depends on the companies. I just don't think this market can handle all the players, and there's definitely a reason that some of these companies can be eliminated. I'm talking about the smallest companies and the ones that aren't really moving a lot of their product. JG says, especially after seeing this virus worries and Canada's thriving like the sin stocks. Yeah, I really hope they start legislation, man. That would be the biggest thing that I'd be like, I mean, is USA gonna move ahead? That'd be awesome for companies like TRULIEVE and Kira and GTII and other ones. But there's a lot of companies in the USA I'm not very bullish on. I mean, you look at like Harvest One, HRV or HRVOF in America, or HRV. Everybody thought that they would be doing $1 billion in 2020. That's what they were talking about. The CEO says, but they're not closing the Verano deal, and they just don't seem like they really know what they're doing. Flower One's just too speculative, in my opinion. I did like them back in the day. I thought they had some potential, but in this market, you can't just invest into any company. You have to pick the best companies. And when I'm talking about the best companies, the most cashed up, like that's why even like Village Farms is sketchy right now. There's a lot of companies. I mean, can they go a lot higher right now? Sure, but in this environment, I mean, if you're a new investor to cannabis and you don't want to lose a lot of money, the only thing I can tell you is to scale into like Canopy Growth or like CRON, CRON. I like Bud, man. I think that people focus on the top 10% of companies, top 5% of companies, and realize that even those companies can go down. But I think there's going to be a lot more clarity what you're talking about with the 2 weeks. If there's that apex thing, I mean, usually people say that the market goes down in cannabis in say like March or April because everybody wants to go travel or they're paying their taxes. But there's an extension to pay taxes now, and then people are getting stimulus money, and then people aren't going to travel. So people aren't going to be spending money on travel. Like that's why I can't be bullish on like Carnival Cruise or hotels. JG says, I don't think as many people drink alcohol anymore, at least around here. I agree. I don't think as many people drink alcohol, but I can tell you there's people definitely drinking alcohol. people, like, you know, they're locked down. You can't go to the pub. You can't go to a coffee shop. You know, the malls are all closed. You can't go to a hockey game. You you know, everything's closed down earlier. So people are stuck in their house. So people are buying, you know, 24 cases every couple days, and they're just drinking like 12, 15 beers a day. So there's people out there that are drinking a lot more, that when they were working, they were maybe only drinking like 4 or 5 beers a day. Now they're drinking 20 or 30 beers a day. I mean, some people I've known in my life can drink a lot. But yeah, no, I agree. There's definitely a new age, and cannabis is kind of taken over. And that's why the biggest companies have acknowledged that, even though they're trying to suppress that. The new age kids don't. JG says all our bars basically closed around here before the virus. Yeah, I mean, listen, I go to the bars around here. There's one bar, and I'll have one beer. Like, I give them like a little bit of money, but I'm not buying like 10 beers from them. I just go in there for a beer, and then I'm out, because I don't live right next to them. I can't walk there, and I'm not going to drink and drive. Yeah, people like that seltzer crap. Yeah, uh, Budweiser's got them. That's why I like Budweiser. I think Budweiser's just, I think it's one of the good sin stocks right now, and I'm surprised not many more people understand that. They're definitely one of the best sin stocks. I mean, yeah, you can definitely have an argument that not many people are buying beer, but let's be real. It's still a big industry. It's still a $1 trillion industry, and yeah, there's some of the sales when the beer stores close maybe earlier, or the bars are closed, then they're not making money at the bars. But people are still buying them, and when this recovers, people are going to buy beer. And you know, this isn't just an overnight thing that it's affecting people. I mean, people are going to have to end up selling their homes. They're going to have jobs that they were making $100,000, $200,000 a year, and when this thing's you know, recovers, they're not going to have that job. So what are they going to do? They're going to have to sell their house. They're going to have to downgrade. You know, they can't. Maybe they'll have to sell their truck. There's a lot of like devastating things that are affecting people. And what do people do when they're in like dark times? They drink, or they smoke weed, or they do things like that just to get away from it and escape. So I think even when this recovers and people are going back to work, there's going to be a lot of people that don't go back to work, but there'll be beer stores that are open. I mean, like bars and clubs that are open because people don't have any jobs anymore. And I mean, there may be less people in the world in like 5 years, just because these people, you know, they're just gonna have no money, and they're gonna die because they just won't have enough money to eat or something like that. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen in the next 5 years, but I think there's definitely some devastation that's gonna happen to a lot of people. Beer sells, and they do more than beer. Exactly. I mean, they have some rights to Corona, which wouldn't be selling very good right now. Just the same as you know, Constellation Brands has rights to Corona, but they're different rights in different places. I don't know exactly where Budweiser has theirs. I just know that they sell a ton. You're talking about like 40, $50 billion a year in revenues. So I like Bud, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's like it's trading at $78 million, and you know, it's been as high as like $100, which was like about 200 billion, right? So they've been, in the last like few years, they've been as high as about like $125. I mean, whether it's a dead cat bounce, I think there's definitely a reason that they could have a bounce to, you know, 60, 70, $80. Whether they come down further, back down to $20 or something like that, who's to say? Yeah, they're making hand signs. Yeah, I mean, everybody's trying to make a bit of money here and there from this whole thing. Bud beer, I don't mind. I don't mind Budweiser. They have this seltzer. They have like some. They have Bud Light. I mean, I don't know. Strains? No, I've never tried strains. I don't know. I'm bullish on them, at least for the short term. I think just with this money that's getting pumped into the economy, I definitely could see them have a big pump. And you know, I think there's a good chance that they're being like $70, $80 before September. But I'm not certain, you know. If they break through $35 and oil starts going down to $15 or $10 or something like that, I mean, this stock could go down a lot further. So, I mean, I'm looking at the chart, and you know, a lot of people wouldn't take this trade because it's not very bullish. You know, you look at it on the March 18th, $35, then it goes up to $46, come down to $43. So it could just be, you know, a little dip, and now it's ready to rise up higher to 54, 55, or it could end up going down to 40 or $35 and even further down. But you know, if they start getting really bearish, I'll probably close my position. Straub, yeah, I have tried Straub for sure. If you guys got any questions, just let me know. I'm gonna be going in the next like 15 minutes or so. So just let me know. I can answer your guys' questions about commodities, cannabis, options, you know, whole host of things that we've been talking about. We've been live for an hour and 24 minutes. So yeah, so I'm just gonna look at the commodities for a second. Yep, soybeans. People like their soybeans. Wow. Holy crap. That is wild. London gas oil? The hell is happening? Minus 98%? That must be a typo. It literally says minus 98%. London gas oil. People would have made, if this is real. It's just a typo. Keep compounding info. Shaka Capiz. Yeah, I know, man. Talk to you on Twitter or whatever. Take care. Take care of your family and friends. What's gold trading at? Just gonna play some music while I upload the gold. If you got any questions, just let me know. Yeah, so on goldprice.com, it says it's at 1620. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's coming down. So gold may not be the place to be right now, to be totally honest, even though it should be the place to be. But if the dollar gets stronger, then that just kind of messes with the whole gold price. Here's a little chart on gold price. If you want to look at that, I got it there. What's silver trading at? Spot silver. 13.95. Wow, it's down a little bit, 3.8%. So silver is a little more connected with industrial. So Anyways, if you guys got no more questions, I think I'm gonna get going. Thanks for watching. I've been talking for about an hour and 30 minutes on, commodities, cannabis. I haven't talked about MediPharm Labs actually, so I briefly did. So I'll just talk about them for a bit. They're gonna be doing their financials tomorrow morning, I believe. And last quarter they were about a 44 million. I think they were about 10 million EBITDA. So it'll be interesting. I really don't know what their financials are going to be. I mean, it's really a wild card. For all I know, they're like going to be 25 to 35 million, or they're going to be 45 to 55 million, or somewhere around there. I mean, I could probably give them, maybe thinking like 35 million to 40 million, but I could be totally off, to be honest. So I really don't know. There's just too many variables going on with MediPharm Labs, but they're definitely one of the best extraction companies with Valens, the two top extraction companies in cannabis space. So, they're going to be bigger, but right now it's hard with the virus, just to be able to, as well as there's been not too much liquidity in the capital markets for cannabis players. So that's been tough for companies, or just in institutions as well. It just hasn't had very good sentiment. So until there's better sentiment in the whole cannabis space, that's when the company will erupt. But when the market does erupt, I believe those two will do fantastic. So that's what I think. Anyways, I'm gonna get going. Talking about what's going on with the virus. JG thinks it's gonna kind of peak somewhere in 2 weeks. So when that kind of lowers the peak, that's when we could really see a lot of momentum in the markets. And but it would be tough for small businesses. Don't get that mistaken. I mean, small businesses are gonna have a tough time. That's why right now it'll be the biggest ones will be able to handle themselves, but some of the smaller ones will definitely be eaten up and acquired or go bankrupt, and that's just a fact of life. So anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and shaka peace. I'm outie 4-5.